Hello, this is Running Robert, and today we're going to be talking about the Bluebird Bio, BLUE, first quarter 2024 summary. Today is the 13th of May, 2024, and in this summary, we're going to be looking at the bullish and the bearish parts of the last quarterly report. So I generally follow small cap pharma, I do games, I do a little bit of everything. So if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot, and thank you. Disclaimer is I do own long-term shares in Blue. I'm an infrastructure investor, and any advice given should be followed up by your due diligence, and information given is valid for today, the 13th of May, and the slideshow will not be updated, but as we get new news, new slideshow. So, quarter one summary. Let's get into that first. So, it's 14 patients started treatment in the first quarter, 11 for Zynteglo, and 3 for Skysona. One started the sickle cell in May of 2024, so not a first quarter, but they did make a mention of it. Total revenue was $18.6 million, and the cash at the end of the quarter was $264 million. In the report, they reaffirmed between 85 and 105 patients this year, which, based on the start, you can definitely see it. Again, looking a little bit more in the numbers, with 14 patients starting, if they were just to continue that same number throughout the year, you get about 56. So that is a pretty good base to start. But, again, we said, hey, there's 85 to 105 is what they're doing. Now, the sickle cell numbers should start rolling in. We got our first. We're going to see where it goes. And that should really see where you get the increase. So, there are 64 QTCs. That's qualified centers that they can take stuff. So, we're going to read something from the conference call. And so, as we sit here today, more than half our sickle cell and QTCs have communicated to us that they are actively evaluating patients for gene therapy, and 1/4 of our centers are in the prior authorization process for one or more patients. So half of the places are looking. That's 31. 1/4 is starting that process for the drug. That is 16. So now when you're kind of looking at that number, it's looking a lot better. So if you add, 30 to 56, now you're in the range. You're in good shape. You don't have to have any growth for your other drugs, and you're good. So again, it definitely is a good start. It does seem that CRISPR is having a better rollout as they've done multiple patients already. But you just got to roll the punches here. We know that our drug is a little more expensive and a little more dangerous. So it is probably not going to capture the majority. But again, if you can make a good effort with it, a good percent, you're in good shape. Again, digging into the numbers overall in terms of cash, and I'm using a $2.5 million per treatment option. So I know that some are more expensive, some are less, and I'm just using 2.5 as a good midpoint. If you have 85 patients, so they said 85 to 105. So 85 times that 2.5 is 212 and change. 105 times that 2.5 is 262 and change. This is where it gets more complicated. The company is on track for operating expenses to be around 250 to 400 million for 2024. However, this range will and can tighten based on the 2024 report when it comes out. Obviously, without 8Ks and 10Ks and stuff like that, it makes it very hard to know how much they are spending. And that, of course, makes it very difficult. So really, the company is, at my numbers, set either for a little bit of a gain or minus 200 million if you are at the both ends, 400 and the bottom. So that's not great. But again, I'm using very large numbers because I don't have that exact information. Of course, that's because the 8K is delayed. So the 10K was delayed because of issues with the financial statements. So this does not impact their bottom line, which is cash in hand, which is really what we care about. But it definitely muddies the waters. We can't get an accurate assessment of how much Blue is really spending. So again, I'm using 250 to 400. I have no idea what it could be. It could be maybe even a little bit more, maybe even a little bit less. I just don't know. So I've picked a very wide range for it. Though they stated that they had cash until quarter one, 2026, which would indicate that, they will lose, some money this year, maybe 100 million and then more next year, but we're just going to have to see. So the positives, like Hercules Capital is giving them a lot of money. And so we know they don't give money away for free. So there has to be a lot of plans in place to make it seem that Blue will be able to pay back its loan. Because again, they're giving them a significant amount of money, which is why they're getting to 2026. If the company can continue its growth and hit its patient numbers, 2025 might be the year they break even. And that's really what we're looking at. So this is looking at a very long-term part of the stock. And then at 2.5, 160 patients would be needed for breaking even. So again, with their 85 to 105, definitely not this year. But again, if they can get into that 100 range, then you're definitely looking pretty good for next year. The negative is the company's still going to lose a significant amount of cash. They're going to go through their 264 and the $100 million loan by Q1 2026. So they spend money, and they do spend a lot. Again, reports not being there just makes this look like a true penny stock. And the company has competition currently for sickle cell, and they have competition on the horizon for the beta thalassemia. They are established in it, but again, you don't want competition. That's going to cut into your line a little bit more. So we're going to have to see how that all plays out. But overall, so I definitely mentioned some positives and some negatives. Overall, the company had a modest quarter, as nothing was surprising. Everything it was, and I'm going to use this in quotes, okay. The numbers were acceptable. Like, I don't think the numbers were anything bad. I don't think the numbers were anything good. Like I said, I think we can see, like, where we can get into the 85s based on what they told us. And so if they can hit that lower part of the guidance, they'll be in good shape to start. But again, it's kind of a push. We had some goods, we had some bads, but nothing that was really surprising. So we're really going to have to wait for future quarters to see if this trend continues and if the trend remains positive. Obviously, if it doesn't, then it's abandon ship. And if it does start to see positive, we will start to see the stock price increase from there. So thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.